Today we are testing out Ina Gartens' viral scrambled egg recipe. I do take mine a little bit further than hers though, because she likes hers really custardy. I just start by preheating my pan with my butter. She cooks hers over a really low heat. And then I started with my eggs. She said to use as fresh eggs as you can get, and this is what I could get locally. You can tell they're fresh because you can see that egg white kind of stain firm. You can't get half and half here, so I just Googled an alternative to use, and that's what I use. Personally, after trying it, I don't think you need the half and half, but that's just my opinion. I feel that it really changes the texture of the eggs, and it makes it probably a little bit too rich. Another change, I don't have access to truffle butter, so I just use some normal butter at the end. You know, same thing, just without the truffle flavour. I went in with some salt and pepper, and I just mixed them as best as I could, whipped them up really well so it's kind of one cohesive texture for the scrambled egg. Now, something Ina does is she lets her eggs sit in the pan and kind of almost temper it to bring the eggs up to temperature. Like, I don't know how to describe it. She just lets it sit in the pan to bring the eggs up to heat. So that's what I was doing here with my hand, just kind of testing if I could feel the heat from underneath coming through the eggs. And I could. So this is where I started mixing. And she just mixed constantly with a spatula, so that's what I did. Now, a lot of the comments that I saw, people were saying that the eggs were really undercooked. They're not as undercooked as you think they are when she serves them up. Basically, by constantly stirring, you're creating smaller egg curds. I don't know how to describe it. Ribbons, curds, whatever. Egg formulation. So where you're constantly mixing, you get smaller curds. So it almost creates a creamier custardy texture. Clearly can't speak today. So you just constantly stir, and you'll see in a minute, I will cut because I speed it up because it takes forever because you are cooking over a low heat. As you can see, I've got my temperature on 4 because 3 was just a little bit too low for my pan because I have an induction hob. As you can see, just constantly stirring, making sure there's contact over all the bottom of the pan with my spatula. I can imagine you can use a wooden spoon too. You can see the egg forming the curds, and I just keep stirring to make the curds as small as I can because, to be honest, this is very similar to how I make my scrambled egg. I just don't add any cream, half and half, whatever. But I start with butter, and I also end with a little bit of butter just to slow the cooking down. The butter at the end, it also helps to create a creamy texture. So if you take your eggs a little bit too far and you add that butter in, it can really help. So in a minute, I show you that this is where like Ina stops. And I'm like, this is not for me. Bit too wet. I take it a little bit further. Not too much further because I'll still want it close to her recipe. But as you can see, it becomes a lot firmer. When I add the butter, I turn the heat off and then I just continue stirring. I didn't have chives to chop, but to be honest, I feel like that is more of an optional choice. It doesn't really make any difference to the scrambled egg because what we're looking at here is like the technique and the addition of the half and half and the butter at the beginning and the end to alter the texture. But as you can see, it's really creamy. Some people might say this is still soft, but it's not. This is me trying the scrambled egg, and that was just a joke because everyone says that she cuts a corner off of her toast and she doesn't actually try the egg. Overall, I would say that this is probably an 8 out of 10. I really not too sure about the addition of the half and half. Me and Nick love sriracha Tabasco on our scrambled egg or eggs or breakfast eggs. It's so nice. It's garlicky. It's not too hot. It adds a peppery hit as well and a little bit of like tanginess. And it's so, so good. That takes it up to a 9.5 in my book.